Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen, dear students. Corruption, a very important topic. Since gaining independence in 1947, Pakistan has been struggling with high level of corruption. Notwithstanding decades of effort at improving the structural framework for effective anti corruption initiatives, it is evident that corruption is still prevailing. The efforts of successive governments to curb this menace have failed miserably. It started right from the beginning when lands and properties of those who had migrated to India after the partition of the subcontinent were occupied illegally by the influential people and those in positions of power and authority. The dozens of administrative measures have been taken to curb the menace of corruption in Pakistan. These measures include all types of initiatives, including the purges of senior bureaucratic and political leadership, creation of new institutions, information technology enhancement, legislative interventions, stronger criminal laws, civil society initiatives, media sanitization and investigation, and even the formation of new political parties. Over the years, this approach has led to the creation of over 34 federal and provincial institutions with a variety of public accountability mandate. Spanning decades, the government cost billions to the national exchequer under the gaze of this massive administrative work. However, systematic corruption has not only thrived but also have grown way more rapidly. One thing that evidences that ambiguity of corruption in Pakistan is that the country has regularly featured near the bottom of almost all credible international indicators for corruption. Different form of corruption in Pakistan, bureaucratic corruption has become pervasive in the country. Even many of those bureaucrats who were tasked with elimination of corruption themselves benefited from this corrupt system. Paying bribe is a common practice in Pakistani society. Bribes are paid to speed up bureaucratic work, to get new passports and to avoid customs checks at the airport, and even to get tax clearance certificates. Conflict of interest is the main cause of corruption in public institutions. There are numerous examples that people fall to avail themselves of public service. That is their constitutional and legal right, while those with influence or money are provided those services instantly. Sometimes there is a personal cost or risk associated with doing the right things. Higher ups tends to sit on the files or avoid the issue altogether. Nowadays, bureaucrats are generally avoiding taking any decision on matters involving money for fear of nab, even though the delay might harm the common good. Political corruption. Corruption in Pakistani politics has increased since the return of democratic government after long rule of General Pervez Musharraf. Several political leaders have been involved in corruption scandals. Former President Asif Ali Zardari, a son of former Prime Minister Yusuf Raza Gilani, and others are facing corruption cases in courts. Former Premier Nawaz Sharif has been disqualified and jailed on corruption charges. Patronage too, it is a common practice within Pakistani politics, and it is leads to lack of professionalism and partisan politicization of public institutions. Elections in Pakistan are regularly marred by allegations of rigging, military threats, and candidates acting illegally. Constant disruption of the democratic process in Pakistan has prevented political parties from developing fully modern and coherent party structure. They are only professional fiefdoms. Political parties are also not required to disclose their income and expenditure to the public, although they do have to furnish before the Election Commission of Pakistan the details of their assets. Interestingly, curbing corruption is a common theme within the manifesto of every major party. However, this appears to simply be an attempt to gain popularity. Ladies and gentlemen, dear students, police department was considered the most corrupt institution in Pakistan in global corruption barometer of 2013. Traffic police officials taking bribes in return for ignoring minor traffic violation is a common observation. Indeed, the reputation of police has created a circle whereby citizens too try to bribe officers, expecting that they will be able to avoid spending time filing out police reports if they ignore the charges in exchange for a bribe. There are also claims that police has been exploited by feudal elements in rural areas and used for torturing political opponents and rigging elections. Judiciary. In 2011 survey, Transparency International identified judiciary as the most corrupt institution in Pakistan alongside police. Nevertheless, with the proceedings of some high-impact corruption cases against government officials, including the Prime Minister, Supreme Court demonstrated its positive role in tackling corruption. However, the voice still present in the lower judiciary, particularly high courts and the lower courts, where people are unlawfully promoted within the judiciary. In next video log, we will discuss anti-corruption efforts and legal framework by the government of Pakistan to manage this corrupt practices and the corruption, which is very important for the people of Pakistan. As Muslim, we believe that Ar-Rashi wal Murtashi, Rishwat lene wala or Rishwat dene wala, giver and taker, both will be entered in hell. And we will try to avoid that these corrupt practices and believe that one day we will be accountable in front of Allah Almighty for our deeds. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.